Hey YouTube, just wanted to do a quick 1 month review of the DJI Spark. Had it for 1 month, so I guess I'll just run through some of the pros and cons as a newbie drone owner. This is, if you don't know, this is my first drone. I've never had one before. I bought this about a month ago. And so, some of this stuff is going to seem obvious, and some of it's just going to be kind of me venting about some frustrations that I have. Some of the things that I don't like about it will probably be um, resolved a little bit by just getting a little bit more flight time in. But in any event, kind of some of the cons that bug me about it is the video recording kind of functions. They drive me a little bit nutty because if you forget to do something, you lose video. Like if you forget to stop recording when you turn it off, and if you forget to if you use a gesture mode and you're recording, it seems like it almost does kind of what it wants to do. I mean, obviously it's programmed to do something a certain way, but however it's programmed, and I don't have the user's manual. I haven't taken the time to download that and uh, um, to read all about it. So that will certainly help me understand it. I guess the issue that I have is that it seems to work counterintuitive to what I would think that it would work. So that in and of itself is a problem. Even if it's programmed to do it that way, and it will do it that way over and over again. It's if it's not what I would expect to have happen, then that's kind of a problem with the way that it's designed. And I think you could get into different arguments about that. But generally speaking, I find that if you don't remember to do things in a certain order when it comes to recording and stopping recording and all this, your footage either disappears or it just isn't quite what you thought you were going to get out of it. So yeah, that bugs me because sometimes I just don't really understand why I get my drone back and I don't have quite the footage that I thought that I was going to have. One other thing that bugs me is the return to home feature when you're close to home. Um, that I don't understand why it does what it does, but basically multiple times, and I kind of talked about it in the first video that I tried to get it to return to home and it didn't do anything. And it's because when you're too close to home, within I'm not sure 20 meters or something like that, it won't come to home. So you just got to fly it over to yourself and land it. And that's fine. I just don't understand why they decided to do that. Maybe there's a very good explanation for it, but if I'm 20 meters away and I hit a button, I would like it to just, if it has a feature that it can come home from a mile away, then why can't I just hit the button and have it land for me if I'm 60 feet away? It just doesn't really make any sense. I don't know, but it kind of bugs me. The other thing is the 2-axis gimbal. For those that don't know, it doesn't have a 3-axis gimbal. It's got a 2-axis gimbal. And although I really don't have much of a problem with that, what you have to do is you have to learn how to fly it a certain way when you're taking video, and certain maneuvers not to make when you're taking video to account for that deficient third axis. It's not a huge issue. I would not buy the Spark because of that. As a matter of fact, I would absolutely recommend it to anybody who wants to get a drone or who's getting into flying drones, for the first time. And I don't know. I mean, with its size, I can see where people who have been flying for a long time would find it very attractive. But there's certainly noticeable kind of video issues when it comes to flying with just the 2-axis gimbal. So those really are the three cons that I think are biggest in my opinion. but none of them are deal breakers for me. None of them make me dissatisfied with the drone. I really wish that the video recording was just simpler, and that moving between flight gesture modes and just regular flight didn't monkey with the recording at all whatsoever. I wish that the two stayed separate, because that seems to be the problem that I have. When you're flying and recording, and then you tell it to do particular gestures, it seems like it hijacks the recording or the video or photo. It hijacks the camera, and so you end up not getting what you think, and I've had some issues with that. I have a problem putting the battery in. I have a problem taking the battery out too, because the button is exactly where you want to press to put the battery on and off, to take the battery on and off. And it's just really a bit of a problem. Because I want to make sure that I get a good secure lock. But there's nowhere to like get a purchase on it really, and you tend to want to press that button on accident when you're sliding it on, or you want to put your thumb on the camera, and that's not a good thing. So I don't know if they could move this button somewhere else, that would have been helpful. But putting the battery on and making sure that you got it in its spot right, I don't know, is a little bit more, takes a little bit more finesse than I'd like, but you know, it is what it is. Overall, again, I'm just totally satisfied with it. Now, as far as the things that I do like about it, obviously the size is unbelievable. Really pretty easy to travel with the exception of one item, which I'll talk about in a minute. It's extremely easy to use for a newbie. I do wish that they'd have a little bit more literature included in with the drone itself, but that's not that big of a deal. But it's super easy to use. I mean, you can watch my videos on unboxing and setting it up and flying. I mean, all within a couple hours I was flying. I haven't crashed it yet. I took the guards off, the prop guards off, mostly just to save some weight, I think. But I haven't been in any situation where I've been concerned. My wife flew it the other day, and I really didn't give her much input except for the basics, and she seemed to do just fine. So really easy to use. And with the exception of the gimbal item that I mentioned earlier, the video quality is fantastic. I think, at least for what I want to use it for. I'm not in commercial production or anything like that. It's just home movies and just to have fun with. And it's I don't know, it just blows my mind that you can buy a drone for, you know, under $600 that is easy to use. It's tiny. It seems very robust, and the camera quality is fantastic. I think it's really good. The batteries charge reasonably quick. I think I've got 2 batteries. I definitely am going to pick up a third because I think 3 is the right number for me. Although if I was more experienced with this flying anyways, I could probably get by on 2, but I find myself wasting a lot of time and not getting good video. But that'll improve with time, I think. And I guess one of the bigger pros about this is that its cost. It's relatively inexpensive, and you can just kind of really get into the whole drone thing for a reasonable amount of money. If you crash it, it's you know, not pleasant, but you know, it's replaceable. It's not a $2,000 drone. So the cost is definitely, you know, one of its big selling points. Its cost and its size, because it's just packed with all sorts of great features, and it's easy to use, and just awesome. So yeah, I think that's it. If anybody has any questions, I'll certainly try to answer them. But hopefully somebody found this helpful, and until next time.